how do we create this content? What is the purpose of it anyway, right? So everybody says create content, yo, create the value. But what does that really mean, and what does that really look like? So, when it comes to the content creation, right? One of the things that I was told early on when building this business is, yo, just put out content, just put out content. I'm like, okay, I want to put out content. I know I need to do it. We know that our audiences are on social media, right? And we know that there's a lot of folks, there's billions of people that we can help. The problem is nobody ever really gives you a good strategy on how to do it, right? You get bits and pieces of information, but how do you really do it on an effective level, at a high level? And how do you create what we call potent content? Potent content. How do you create that? So I'm going to be sharing in this training specifically what you need to do to create that type of content, because that is what we call sticky. That's how you make your content sticky. So when somebody comes across you, they like, oh my God, like where have you been my entire life? So that's the idea of it. Now, what is really the objective? The objective of the creating the content outside of you feel good, you're helping, you're serving, you get an opportunity to tell your story. Like outside of all of the goodness of that, the objective that we have this for is you want to create a fan base. And that might be where you want to start your notes. Create a fan base. Your goal is to create fans, followers, that love your content, that continue to come back and consume your content. And you want that because out of that fan base is going to be a certain percentage of people that actually are serious about it and they want to go to the next level. And this is something that I didn't really understand before. I just kind of knew I wanted to post and I wanted people to see it. And I'm thinking these people are going to reach out to me. But what I didn't realize is that the content creation side of it, what I put out, makes a difference, because that's going to make somebody determine and say, you know what, I want to go to your webinar, or I want to go to your live event, or I want to join your challenge, or I want to be part of your coaching program, or I want to take you up on that strategy session. Or you feel what I'm saying? That it's going to be the content in what you create and how well that's created, and how well your ability is to keep them coming back, because they don't know what's new, it's kind of fresh, what's next, what's going to happen. I know I'm going to learn. Is something going to be different? Like, a lot of us are missing that curiosity factor in our content. So it's not giving people, it's not sticky enough for somebody to want to come back, and it's not valuable enough for somebody to say, damn, if this is what they're giving away for free, I wonder what their paid coaching program looks like. And that's the psychological effect that you really want to be able to have on your ideal clients, which is funny because my whole background outside of this is cybersecurity. So, the fact that it's like on the opposite end, and I focus a lot on psychology now, I always think it's a funny paradox, but that's really what it is, right? A lot of content creation is a lot of psychology. It's not you just running your mouth continuously. It's really being very thoughtful about the messages you're putting out, being very thoughtful about how you put out certain types of content. Everything that I do is strategic. What I do, how I do it, and the goal is to make it look effortless. The goal is to make it look like it's not strategic. The goal is to make it look like, yo, my man is just here, just giving, which I am, but at the same time, I'm very thoughtful in the process, right? It's like, Floyd Mayweather, right? When he was actively boxing, he made everything look so easy. He made the defense, he made the jabs. There's a lot of things he did. He made it look easy, but he prepared for those situations. He prepared when he got a certain type of punch, right? He prepared for if he got hit. There's certain things that he did beforehand that prepared him for battle. So by the time he got in the ring, it looked easy. It looked effortless. And that's the same kind of preparation that I want us to be able to do when we create and we put out content, because that is what's going to attract people to want to learn more. You have to get clear on your target audience. You might have heard this before, but I promise you, the reason so many people are shaking you and telling you to get clear, another word is avatar. Understand who your avatar is. The reason you want to get clear on that is because you can deliver a message that's going to be powerful to them. If you don't know who you're helping, I get a lot of people who they'll come to me and they'll say, yo, Coach T, I want to start a coaching business. I said, okay. I said, who do you want to help and how do you want to help them? It's one of my first questions I always ask everybody. oh, I want to help everybody from the age between ages 18 and 80, men or women, live anywhere in the world, and they give so broad, they make their audience so broad that they can't give a powerful message to any one demographic. And demographic don't necessarily have to mean age or gender or location. It can also mean role in society, a mother, a doctor, anybody, entrepreneurs, anything, right? So because they're not niched in who they're talking to, their message is different, because guess what? An 18-year-old and an 80-year-old lives two completely different lives. What's important to an 18-year-old is not important to an 80-year-old. You feel what I'm saying? And vice versa, right? So how could you can't even use the same references in your content, right? Like you can't even, like there's nothing, like you can't talk about the same music. You can't talk about the same type of shows. You can't talk about the same type of lifestyle. Somebody who's been through, who's just been through racism or been through this or been through that, right? And it's somebody who's just getting into the world, and maybe, you could talk to an 80-year-old that been through 5 relationships and, went through all of this trauma and turmoil, and like they just in a different place of their life, right? Than somebody who's just maybe, is 18, just experiencing life. And that's the reason, although you could have a life coaching program or a trauma program that anybody could use, the question isn't, can anybody use it? The question is, who is the most ideal type of person who's going to want this product? That's the difference with what's going to make you successful versus other people, right? You on here, so and you're looking to give, so you already have some level of success. But what's really going to make you make an impact in the world and make you financially successful in what we do in coaching is going to be your ability to say, I can help everybody, but the person who's most likely to enroll in this program, the person who's most likely to pay for this product is going to be who? Once you identify that, you've already made, the world is going to be changing in a big way for the better, right? In some areas, it just kind of depends on what it just kind of depends, right? Are you technology challenged, or are you not, right? It just kind of depends on what your strengths are, what your weaknesses are. It depends on what your limiting beliefs are. It depends on your willingness to learn and grow and do new things, or do you get quickly frustrated when you come across a problem or a challenge and you can't figure it out. But I'm gonna tell you this, the way that the world is right now, especially in our space, in coaching, speaking, whatever it is, right? You have some type of expertise, education, or experience, and you want to be able to get that out into the world. We label it as coaching because coaching is the highest form of transformation. But in our industry, we know there's plenty of other things we do, right? You need to speak. At some point, you should probably write a book. At some point, you should be doing your own live events, right? But the highest form of transformation of it, a lot of people say they don't have the time to do it. So one of the things that I teach my students, I teach them what they call the cornerstone content formula. And specifically what the cornerstone content formula is it allows us to know what type of content we're going to create ahead of time, right? So what's the biggest things that folks go through, right? Or that you may be going through content creation. One of the things I hear a lot is, yo, Coach T, I don't know what to create. Coach T, I don't know what to talk about. Coach T, I don't have the time to do it. I got this, I got the kids, I'm working 2 jobs, I'm in the military, I'm in a PhD program, I got that, blah, 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 blah. It's an unlimited things. I got health issues, I'm taking care of my mother, right? It's a bunch of things that could go on and that will continue to go on for the rest of your life. However, if we don't get clear on how to actually do it and produce the content, you could be the smartest person in the world. You could be the best coach in the world. You could literally change lives. You are that pillar. You have been chosen. You are the chosen one to change the lives of your people in the industry. You are the golden child. But if you don't ever put out content, nobody's gonna know. because you continue to give excuses. So that ends today. Those excuses end today. We got to find a way to make it work. Got to find a way to produce the content, because that's how people. What is this cornerstone content formula? What does that really look like? So key piece, right? It comes down to really just two things you really got to focus on. First is your topics, right? So you want to focus on what is your topics you really want to teach and train people on. Whatever your coaching program is about, or whatever you want to coach people to, you should be training and teaching and putting out and releasing content every single day on that topic. All right. I recommend minimum once a day, optimally 3 to 5 pieces of content per day. All right. The more platforms you can do, the better. It all depends on your resources, your available time. But 3 to 5 pieces of content on one platform per day. If you can do that on 2, even better. 3, even better. 4, even better. And the reason I'm mentioning it like that is because you got to remember, everybody's not on one platform. Everybody isn't on Facebook. Everybody doesn't go on YouTube regularly. Everybody's not on Instagram regularly. Everybody's not on TikTok regularly. It's certain people, or LinkedIn. There's certain people that prefer. Once you know what you want to help people with, now it's important to focus on, okay, what is the format of how you're going to release the content? And this is really the juice of this cornerstone content formula. This is like the concept of how you're going to create it. So like, let me give you an example. Let's say we're focused on trauma, right? Let's just say you're a trauma coach or a life coach with a specialization in trauma, right? And helping people overcome it. Now, let's say you have a topic that says how to identify your triggers, right? You can create that video in many different formats, right? You can create that video, like I can do, trying to see if I have something right. But let's say I got my phone, right? I can do selfie talking about how to identify your triggers. I can write on a whiteboard. You don't even have to see my face, but I can write on a whiteboard on 3 steps on how to identify your triggers. Same video, different way I explain and show the content. Does that make sense? Right? I can have, maybe you've talked about it before on your podcast, or maybe you've talked about it before on your YouTube channel. Who's to say you can't take clips from your YouTube channel and post it? What I'm sharing with you right now is how to create content easily and quickly and make it actionable, right? I'm sharing with you how to be able to do this, so we don't use time ever again as an excuse for why you can't serve the public, why you can't help the people, why you can't help your audience. I'm giving you a process for that, right? So that's what you do, right? You can do it that way. I mean, there's so many different ways. Why can't you interview somebody who's confident enough to talk about the trauma that they've been through and have them tell their story and maybe the lessons that they've learned, right? And maybe they can talk about what are their specific triggers. So you can interview somebody, or you can coach somebody on it. You feel what I'm saying? Like, so there's so many different ways and ideas that you could do. You could do a quote on, on trauma and identifying triggers. So there's so many different ways you can create it. But how I want you to do it is, I want you to be consistent. I want you to have your running list of topics, and then I want you to have your top 5 formats. Your top 5 formats of how you want to release content. That's what you want to do, right? Like I give you one of my other concepts. One of my other concepts is I do a show at the time of this. I do a show called Makeover My Marketing, where I find very influential people within our industry, high-level influencers in our industry, and literally I break down their marketing. I look through their ads. I say, this was good. I say, ooh, this isn't so good. I would have changed this. And then I also give them a rating at the end of the training. So I rate them, right? And I rate the effectiveness of the marketing or the ad campaign. And I drop this on my YouTube. So guess what? I have a piece of content that I know that I don't have to think. And this is the point. I don't have to think when it comes to creating content. I know when it comes to my YouTube channel, I know that this is a piece of content I'm going to do every week. So you ask Coach T, and I have a content day. I do content throughout the week, but I have a content day. So my content day is on Fridays, right? So you ask Coach T, what are you producing in terms of content for your YouTube channel? I already know. If you ask me, Coach T, well, what are you producing in terms of content on your Instagram? I know that part of what I'm doing is I'm taking clips from my YouTube. I'm putting out quotes. You know, I'm gonna give just like a real raw, authentic message. Just jump on camera, right? No script. You know, I just need to think of a topic or look on my list and then say, okay, I'm gonna do this topic. Boom, and I go. And so because I have that level of preparation, that is what helps me be consistent with content. For example, on Facebook, if you notice, or if you've been following me on Facebook, every morning I do like a long post. I do a post where I'm just talking about business, I'm talking about life, I might be talking about habits, I might be talking about mindset. I just talk about different topics, right? And usually I make it related to business, but a lot of it is mindset hacks or just how to move in life so you could be more successful. I know when it comes to Facebook and it comes to me putting out my posts, I know that I'm gonna get that morning post out. That's it. And I don't have to think about what I'm gonna do and how I'm gonna post and what topic, post. Not a video, it's a long written post. Almost like a short blog article, and I do that on my Facebook. So because I already have this laid out on what I want to do and the types of content that I want to produce on each platform, it makes it easy. It makes it easy for me.